Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the True Pop Culture 7 show. I'm your host, True Pop, here to laugh and think about pop culture stupidity. Before we get on with the show, I would especially like to show the recent video that I just launched on my channel and on my Twitters, promoting, let's say, a little infomercial. Let me just put this up on screen and let the past myself do the talking.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Are you enjoying your favorite YouTuber's live stream? Can't stop laughing at a particular moment? Well, don't just let it go down the memory hole. Certain live stream moments should not be forgotten, which is why you should let me know, since it will be immortalized with funny editing and animation. As long as it's funny, the stream highlights can be anything. It can range from rants about the living gays.
When there's no more room in hell, the gays will watch the gays.
Professional video game moments.
It'll talk to you if you're alone. Move to the other side of the room.
Oh, you want me to leave? Okay.
Yeah.
Diesel, been for 6 months. Hey, Garrett, are you feeling better, brother?
Sean, I'm so sorry, but my colleague is reading super chats out when I'm trying to fucking communicate to the dead.
What?
Getting your Taco Bell order wrong for the 5th time in a row.
God damn it!
Or even a deep debate on the architecture of toilet rooms? Wait, is that actually a thing? So what are you waiting for? Simply DM or tweet me at TrueCulture7 with a stream you watched and a time code. Or you could subscribe to the True Pop Culture 7 channel and let me know in the comments. Also, check out the playlist for already made huge collection of favorite live stream moments.
So there we go. Please do feel free to DM me any clips that you found especially hilarious. It can be, doesn't have to be just in the fellowship. I know I did once, even a Jordan Peterson meme at one point, I think. And one time I even did like a news story, I think, as well. So anything that you find funny in streams, DM them to me or let me know in the comments below. Anyway, today we're discussing all things Mario. And recently, well, this week, I did a poll asking you guys whether you'd like to uh, see my regular threads and reviews on the movie that I usually do, or whether you like to see a video. The video won with easily. Thing is, videos take time, so I thought the next big thing would be to do a live stream. And who else to join me then? The Lofty man himself, Lofti Pixels. How are you doing?
Let's go. I'm all right. I'm pretty good. I'm drinking
Alright.
coffee right now, and I got a coffee. I got a Mario coffee mug as well. You can't see
Oh,
it. The camera's not.
a true gamer then. Would you
Yeah.
consider yourself like a big Mario fan then?
I know more. I know bigger fans than I've played most of the games. I play Smash Brothers a lot. I'm not the biggest. I just like Mario a lot.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever completed a Mario game. To be honest, I think I
Yeah.
played this and that, but maybe like a Nintendo Sports with Sonic and Mario. Maybe that's the only Mario-esque thing I played on the Wii. I think that's it about. But
You never
I do
played
know
64?
some Mario bits. No, no,
Oh.
no, I haven't either.
I could be wrong, but I feel like Mario 64 is like probably it's hard to say anymore because some people are going to say Super Mario World, but I'm talking about like pure nostalgia. I think a lot of people would say Mario 64 is their most nostalgic game that most people have played. I could be wrong because there's a lot of boomers who played like the old ones too.
Mhm.
But as far as like the demographic who watches like us and the nerd fandom, I don't know. I think it's Mario 64. I could be wrong though. Maybe chat would correct me.
Okay, chat. Recommend me some noob Mario games. The best you ever played. I heard thingy Odyssey is apparently good, but that's on the Switch, right? I can't remember anymore.
Yep,
Only a Switch
it's amazing.
Okay, I'm
be a
poor.
long
Can't buy a Switch yet.
There's emulators if you have a good
Oh
computer.
yeah, there is. I have emulated the Pokemon Black and White on my PC. I rarely play that though. I love that game.
Yeah, I'm trying to emulate. Well, I tried to emulate. I tried to play Breath of the Wild with like mods, with 4K mods and stuff like that. But
Okay.
my computer, it was lagging, so I'm trying to play it before the new sequel comes out, the new Zelda sequel. I played it before, but Breath of the Wild is like 80 hours long, and I got like 40 hours into it, and I got like I was working with the quartering at the time. I got so obsessed with work and like I was busy, and then when I went back to it, you ever have this problem where you go back to a game after like a month or two, and you're just like, it's that Gandalf meme. It's like, I have no memory of this place.
Yeah.
So I had to start over because I didn't remember how to do anything. Anyway,
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, like, I'm not really that familiar with like the world of Nintendo, but I'm pretty familiar with the world of Mario, and like,
yeah,
I even remembered something about Mario having a catsuit, and Grace Randolph, I can't pronounce her name.
Randolphini.
Was
I don't know.
incredibly weirded out by the cat, but yeah, I just found that
Yeah.
funny. You know, like her knowledge of Mario is
Yeah,
extremely poor, to say the least.
she's just a random girl that just I don't fucking know. She's
Mm,
weird.
Yeah, and it's just like
That Mario. Yeah.
How did you get your job if you don't know like some Mario
I don't
basics,
know.
really?
I don't know how she's popular.
Yeah, I
If
don't know.
if she's that much of a noob when it comes to Mario, she must be a noob with everything. How does she review any adaptation of any nerd fandom thing?
Exactly. It's just yeah, there was no
I
John
know.
Cena bulge in this movie, so unfortunately she'll give it like a 3 out of 10, you know, IGN score. Anyway, let's get on with the movie. We're not about Grace Randolph and John Cena bulge. The thing before going into the movie, I was kind of nervous because it's an Illumination and Nintendo projects, right? And let's face it, Illumination doesn't have the best track record. I wouldn't consider them the pinnacle of storytelling. Have you seen any other previous movies, Lofty?
I've seen what's that one Minions movie? I've seen one of the Minions movies. I think it
Was it
might
with
have been-
Gru or just by themselves?
It was with Gru, and I
Okay, so
kind
that's recent.
of liked it.
Okay.
In a wholesome way, I liked it. Trying to think what else here they've done.
They've done Despicable Me 1. That might be somewhat good.
I've seen that one. Yep.
But I don't remember much of it to be honest.
The Lorax I heard was terrible, even though it had really good animation.
The Lorax had you okay. I forgot. I completely forgot. I forgot that Lorax was a thing they made.
Yeah. I think they messed up the script on that one.
Hang on.
Or maybe not. I didn't watch it.
Did they make Hop? With the live action buddy?
Yep.
Oh, good God.
Yep. And they made the Grinch.
The Grinch maybe wasn't. That had good animation.
Yeah.
From what I remember. But
Secret Life.
What was the other one that I was just Lorax? Yeah. That was terrible. They had one good song in it.
Yeah.
When he's chopping down the trees, essentially. Yeah, the one good song.
I've seen
guy chopping down trees. No, I would not consider them. What is there, like 5 Despicable Me movies now? Maybe 6. Sing 1 as well. That was terrible. And hearing that,
Super Mario Bros. Is their best, I think. That's my opinion.
I think it's largely due to Nintendo.
Yeah.
That this is good, essentially. And okay, maybe Illumination put in the effort with the animation. The thing is, like, have you watched the live action Super Mario Brother? I don't know, with Bob.
I watched it when I was a kid, and
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't. I've refused to watch it again. I've seen clips and stuff like that ever since, like recently, and it's not appealing enough to me to watch again.
Mhm.
It just it looks like I'm just gonna cringe through the whole thing.
Yeah,
But
exactly. And I think like that I've never seen all of it, but I have seen uh clips essentially
yeah,
of it, and it's it's an absolute failure in adaptation, I would say. But I don't envy them really, because right, if I
yeah,
was like a
yeah,
new director or writer, and I looks like the video game of Mario, I'd be like, how on God's green earth do I adapt this to live action? There's freaking mushrooms
yeah,
that turn you big and small. There's stars. There's all sorts of crazy stuff in here.
yeah,
And I think what this movie did well was kind of adapt that world into a kids movie really well. Like, it doesn't suspend your disbelief. You're like, oh yeah, of course there's mushrooms that make you big and stuff like that. It just feels natural. It never pulls you out uh of the film. And I thought that is something that they pulled that off really well.
yeah, exactly. I just don't like live action. When it comes
Yes.
here, I have a weird, I don't know, maybe people agree with me, but I feel like people push back on me a lot with this one, but I don't like live action when it comes to like cartoony IPs like that are video games or anime. I don't like live action. The, there's always a slim possibility that some genius writer director could come along. Oops, my guy's angry for some reason. I have to fix
Mm.
it.
I was like thinking,
Hold on
why
a
are you
sec.
angry?
No, I was okay. There's always this possibility that some genius comes along and perfectly adapts Pokemon or perfectly adapts Street Fighter or whatever or Mario. But that's not
Mhm.
going to happen. We know it. It's going to be cringe. So just don't even bother. Make it animation. Everybody likes animation. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, making a Mario movie, I mean, animation is like the obvious way to go, and you can see that in the box office
Yeah.
as well. Have you seen the news?
Oh yeah.
I think it's being like Frozen 2 on some shit, which
Yeah.
is
$377 million.
that's
Unbelievable.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
because I work at a cinema, so I have like a couple of days off, but like I'm gonna have to return there and return to the crowd. So it's just like,
Look,
great,
if you
can't
want
wait.
to if you want to know how crazy it is, Detective Pikachu in its entire theatrical run made 433 million total.
Okay, and
And
that's just doing it in a couple of days.
Mario in 5 days is only like 50 million off from Detective Pikachu. It's
God damn.
wild. Now I'm telling you, that's the live action effect. People were turned off by the live action Pokemon movie because Pokemon would have tripled that if it was animation. Think about it. It's way more popular than Mario. And
Do you think like anime
yeah.
animation or just animation?
It depends. Anime would, I mean, the Demon Slayer movie made over $500 million in theaters.
Mm. The last thing that they launched was terrible. They launched like the 2 last previous episodes and then just like a episode of season 3, which was like
Yeah. Oh, Demon
bottom of the
Slayer?
barrel stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, I'm saying like if you do animation, I
Mhm.
mean, sorry, if you do anime for Pikachu, because it's a Pokemon is an anime, you could do it and it probably would make a lot of money if you put a lot of effort into it.
Mm.
Like the original, remember the Pokemon 2000 movie and the Mewtwo movie? That, you know,
I
all of my friends went to see that in theaters, and I think that
mm,
made a decent amount. Let me look that up.
I think I've seen the Illusion Pokemon movie. I don't think I've seen the Mute. I think that, and there was another movie with Arceus resurrecting Ash or some shit. I can't remember.
Yeah, the
Um,
original, the first one with Mewtwo back in 2099 made
okay,
$172 million in the theaters. It's pretty good.
nice. I gotta check those out.
I just think 3D animation is going to hit harder for some reason. It just does usually. Hit 3D animation at the box office like kind of kills it. It slaughters.
Okay.
And Pokemon is set up for that because there's already 3D animated Pokemon movies. There was one recently, but it's like they
It's
don't
not.
put
It's
effort
cheap.
into
It's
it. It's cheap.
yeah.
It's cheaply made. They don't give it to a good studio. They put it out. They don't do a lot of marketing, and it makes $50 million or less than that. Every single Pokemon movie that comes out makes less than $50 million. They don't really care.
Mm.
I think this is going to make Nintendo care again about
Do you know who
this
else I
movie.
think also will
Yeah.
make care as well?
Yeah.
Disney, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
what? We're losing to Mario?
Yeah, Disney Animation is well, Disney Animation's also was losing to Illumination anyway, I feel like. But yeah. I mean, Disney's losing to Mario, but not really because Avatar just made $2.4 billion. But in terms of animation, yeah, I think they are. I think they probably are. They're
Okay.
gonna now Nintendo. What do they do? What do you think they should do? Should they just stay with Illumination because they have so many properties? I don't think Illumination can adapt all of them. I don't understand what they're gonna do, to be honest.
I think they should go like to Illumination and say, "You have outlived your usefulness," and just push them off.
Absorb them? Just buy them? Straight up buy them?
Maybe. I definitely don't think they should stay with them. If they, because I noticed that this movie kind of cheaped out in some areas, and we'll get right to that. But I think
go ahead. Yep.
first we'll discuss what we really liked about the film. I think that'd be a good starting point.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can talk about plots and inconsistencies and stuff like that. But I think the thing I value most in movies is characters, and I think it delivered that with Mario and Luigi. I think they're easily my favorite characters in this entire thing.
Yep. I love them. I like I love Luigi. I love Mario. I love all the characters, really. I think let's see here. The one I didn't like was Cranky Kong.
You
But
could just hear Seth Rogen in it, and that was distracting to me. I could just
Cranky
hear his
Kong
ears.
was well yeah
Oh no, Donkey
was
Kong, not
probably
Cranky Kong. Yeah, Colin.
Donkey
talking
Kong
about Cranky Kong.
was maybe the weakest, but even with Donkey Kong, oopsies, I'm now hear myself talking. I have on my phone playing this stream. Donkey Kong, I thought he was fine. I don't know. Seth Rogen just kind of has a Donkey Kong voice. I don't. That's just. I don't know.
I just heard.
Yeah,
him,
Seth Rogen.
Not the character. With Chris Pratt, on the other hand,
Yeah.
I did not hear Chris Pratt. I heard
Yeah.
like a working man plumber, essentially, who's completely lost. I heard a character, not the voice actor, which is great.
Yeah, Rogen's
I think he did that with Lego Movie as well, Chris Pratt. Like,
oh yeah, he's a good voice actor.
He's good. He's actually really good.
And so was Keegan-Michael Key.
Exactly. I didn't hear his voice either, and he was so cute as well. Like, oh, I'm Mario's best friend. Like, and Mario's just like, no, we just met. And I just found that hilarious. And you know that one line of dialogue for him just instantly demonstrates how loyal he is, essentially. Oh, and chat, something I completely forgot to mention: spoilers. I guess we're not going to talk about it for an hour or and a half without mentioning some spoilers. So
yeah,
be warned. I should have probably put that in the title. But if you haven't watched it yet, what are you doing? Go to the cinema now. Get your ass over there. Bring your kids.
I waited to do a spoiler stream. I think tomorrow night I have some people coming on or something. I don't know. It's hard to because I don't know who's watched it and this is a movie where it was like, oh, it doesn't matter about spoilers. Yeah, it kind of does. Like, there's some things that are exciting if you're a Mario fan that you don't know are going to show up. Like there's a character that shows up you don't know about. You know.
Yeah.
There's some spoilers that you just don't want to hear about. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. The thing I wanted to mention about Mario is just I loved him because he's a hero, essentially, like an aspirational hero. And how many times have we received movies where a hero is deconstructed and drinks green milk and says, this isn't a time for heroes anymore. We're all bad, blah, 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 blah. Zack Snyder, black and white and edgy. No, this is just your plain old-fashioned hero who defends his brother, who's loyal to him. It's
great.
It feels so good to watch. Really engaging.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing worked really well with The Dark Knight because it's like, oh, he's got to be a it plays into the story. Oh, he's not a hero anymore; he's a villain. But he's the hero that nobody needs, or what's the line? You know what I mean? he has to kind of
Right.
pretend he's the villain and who killed Harvey Dent, even though because they
Mhm.
need Harvey Dent to be the hero. It makes sense within the context of the story,
Mhm.
but a lot of heroic movies nowadays they do try to subvert that heroic archetype like too hard, and it gets
Yeah,
annoying.
because I don't remember a time where I ever saw someone. Well, maybe like 90s animated Spider-Man series. Maybe that's
Yeah,
heroic-ish, but because you know, since the 2000s and onwards, I don't remember ever seeing like a proper hero, and it's so refreshing to see it in an
yeah,
animated kids movie of all things. And yeah,
yeah.
that
I think
deconstruction
yeah,
element is always something in different
I
movies.
think they do it well in the Spider-Man movies, and I think they do it. I think personally, Iron Man I think is the best hero I've seen in the last 20 years. But
Hmm.
that is because of his whole arc is like satisfying, and you have to like it takes like 10 years to get there. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. But Iron Man's based.
Yep. The thing is, like, I love like
But
their
Mario,
dynamic
yeah, yeah,
as brothers as well.
yeah,
Like, it's not gay, it's not slapping cheeks or anything like that. They're
yeah,
simple brothers and they're loyal to each other. Like,
yeah.
you don't see that in movies anymore. Like on Netflix, what two male characters being friendly with each other? Oh, they have to be gay then. Great.
Yeah.
Just and I appreciated that
Yeah, there's a lot
aspect
of
to it.
the beginning of this movie is actually really I was just surprised. I was
Yeah,
like, this
me
is
too.
really personal and emotionally it's not over the top emotion. It's not like
Hmm.
Toy Story where the kid drops his
No.
toy and you start crying. It's
Hmm.
like it's just enough to get you invested in the characters and then to go on the journey. Like they did just enough, and they did
Yeah,
a good job.
exactly. Like and
Yeah,
that was enough to get you attached to the characters and to get you through the film.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, the reason they did that is because we already know these characters, so they didn't need to do more than that.
hmm.
And then then the rest of the movie they relied on our knowledge of kind of the tropes of Mario and the fact that if you're a Mario fan watching this movie, you're expecting various tropes to pop in, like uh, a kart chase, like a Mario Kart chase, power ups, stuff like that,
Hmm.
and they don't really. None of that really needs to be explained because we already know all of it. So we're just kind of like all we need to do is get a little bit of investment into Mario and Luigi, and their separation was a little bit reminded me a little bit of Loki and Thor. You know, remember when they got separated in the
Yeah.
what was it? It was a very similar scene actually. In the slipstream or whatever the hell that is called.
Hmm.
I can't remember where they went, but they got separated
Hmm.
in one of the
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah. I think
Loki
for one
went,
or for two or something. I can't remember exactly.
yeah. That I wonder they probably borrowed it from that, but
Mm.
they had a little Loki Thor vibe going, and then yeah, it was great.
The
It's great.
the thing that demonstrated their heroism like subtly as well. There was like this scene where the dog is angry at them essentially,
Yeah,
and Mario kind of has to duck and weave, protect his brother and stuff like that, and then the dog like kind of jumps at them, and they dodge, and the dogs goes out the window
yeah.
essentially accidentally. I'm like, oh, okay, the dog's done. All right, job done. But no, they actually saved the dog as well. Even the dog was going out of his way to essentially bite their faces off.
Yep,
It's subtle, but it's just like, oh, okay, they don't want to hurt really anyone, and then they help the dog
exactly.
essentially. It's subtle things like that. It's just mm, could not have come from Illumination.
Yeah,
um, and there were I think there were more scenes like that. Especially when Luigi was remembering how his brother defended him. I think like the flashback to the babies. I think that was a game of Baby Mario and Luigi, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
hmm.
again, I don't know too much, but I did
Oh,
recognize some Easter eggs. So
wait, what part?
the part where Luigi gets captured and he's on an air balloon and he's remembering when he was a baby and how
yeah.
he got bullied, and then Mario defends him, and they were like baby Mario and Luigi, and
Yeah,
I think that was like a game at one point with avatars that looked exactly like that, essentially.
I think so.
From what I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, you know, the suits and stuff like that. It didn't just because I'm a Mario noob, it doesn't mean that it just went past my head. Essentially, I was like,
Right.
okay, that's probably something to do with the game.
Also,
Yeah.
you said earlier you're not an expert, right, Mario?
Mhm.
Like, yeah. So, do you like? I'm wondering, were there any points of confusion for you where you're like, what the heck is happening? Because maybe I could explain it, but I'm wondering what you thought of the Bowser's castle part, where he's running
Mm,
away from the skeletons and like I guess that makes sense I don't know, like, because those are actual villains from the game and that's how they behave. You can beat them up and their skeletons will like put themselves back together. Like that actually happens in the video game. So that was like a nostalgic thing for fans, and I'm just wondering if it worked for you, if you didn't know about it, like if it still worked as like a gag, like a funny gag.
I don't remember. Hmm.
Because like, remember the skeletons were chasing him when
Yeah.
Luigi first, yeah, and then he broke the one, and he was like, I got you," and then it put itself back together, and then and then they all
Hmm.
started chasing into the castle.
I think I've seen that kind of enemy type
Yeah,
before, so I don't think I was confused at any point. Um,
gotcha. Yeah.
maybe I didn't know. You know when he goes into like the what is it, mansion, and there was like a weird enemy type that I haven't seen before. Like they're like hooded essentially and wear white masks.
Mhm.
I haven't seen them before. Like those little things. I think they're minions of Bowser as well.
Yeah, yeah, the Shy Guys, do you mean?
Yeah, I
Yep,
haven't seen them before, so I think that was
yeah.
the only thing. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't really explain what they are, and people who aren't into Mario are like, "Well, that was a kind of a cool enemy character design," and they just didn't like that bothered me about Star Wars when
Mhm.
the new ones introduced these like really cool like characters that are like wearing red suits. In The Last Jedi, they get fucked up by Rey and Kylo. I kind of want to know what the hell those things are, but they
Yeah,
don't explain it ever. It's just like I don't know. That
yeah,
bothers me
yeah,
sometimes. But this
yeah.
movie
They
is
didn't
just
bother
straight up.
explaining the Knights of Ren either, so
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
that,
true.
yeah,
That's even worse.
exactly.
But
Um,
nah, this movie's just that's fan service. And
mhm.
yeah, Wake Robin popped in. He says, good animation, mixed bag, voice acting, plot so. That's his
Okay,
prediction. He hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of
So
accurate.
really good animation, yes. Mixed bag for voice acting. No, I think the voice acting is top notch,
Yeah,
like on all parts.
yeah.
Plot only so. I agree. Characters, fresh kiss, uh, French kiss, I guess.
Yep.
Uh, I wanted to ask you something. What do you think about Princess Peach? Do you think she's a girl boss?
Um, and that word is so and that word to me is like the word racist. Like it doesn't mean anything anymore because it literally is so diluted. What is a girl boss? Because
The pinnacle example I would say would be Rey or Captain Marvel in the MCU.
yeah, but okay. So the definition of a girl boss in that context is a girl who is a Mary Sue, has no formal training, is automatically powerful,
Mhm.
has no flaws whatsoever,
Mhm.
does everything herself, doesn't need help from men, and is saves the day in the end. That's kind of the generic
Yeah, that
trope.
generic. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's like
no. So no, she's
examples in
not.
Star Trek as well and stuff like that. No,
Yeah, so Peach
I
is
wouldn't say
not
that
a
either.
girl boss. Not
No,
a girl
definitely
boss.
not. There was that worry in the trailer, I know, at one point, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like that, especially when Bowser tortures Toad, and she
Yeah.
instantly gives into the that's the moment of weakness that
Yeah.
demonstrates her sort of character. And I remember she was like talking to. I love the Mario and Princess Peach interactions as well. By the
I
way,
did
in
too.
here. Right, like Mario was like, I feel terrible about this. I was just like, oh, don't worry. I mean, I've done this. Like, this took me a long while. Like, oh, you just tried to make me feel better. I was just like, is it working? Like, yeah, kind of. It's just those little interactions that you just really enjoy. Yeah, I don't think a girl boss would kind of imply that she's insufferable in some way or anything like that. No, you kind of she essentially lives in that world. That world is her home world, and Mario's just a plumber, who just joined in here for what like 2 or 3 hours ago. So of course he's not gonna be really professional. And at the end of the day, he does
Yeah.
save the day.
Yeah. The overall pushback against that narrative is there's like three things. Mario, this is a Mario movie. Okay.
Mhm.
He saves the day twice. She doesn't really do much, to be honest. B, she has a very small training flashback where they explain how she got her abilities. She was raised as a child to be
Mhm.
kind of a fighter and like a protector of the realm, and then she became the ruler. That's they show it in the movie. They explain it. Okay, if they didn't explain it, then yes, she would be a Mary Sue, and it would just be like, wow, I've always been powerful since I was 2.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
they show it. Maybe people might have missed it because it's so quick. There's so many references. Oh god, I have to watch it again.
Yeah, I want to see this movie again. If anything, there's like little bits you might have missed,
Yeah.
like character wise, and it's just like, yeah, I'll definitely see it again.
Of course,
I
there's
get
so
to watch
much.
movies free of cost, so essentially, I'm using that as much as possible, doing all the reviews of movies and
Nice.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And the third thing is she actually doesn't she appreciates Mario for who he is, and she gives him a
Mm.
lot of respect. It's like,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, like Ray and Luke, she was disrespecting Luke, and like she didn't really, you know what I mean? And like there's other,
Mhm.
and Captain Marvel is like making fun and making, toxic male jokes and shit.
Exactly. Making fun of Fury as well, and
None of that happens in this movie. I mean, she makes there's a couple jokes she says like the one is their toads are asking who Mario is and she's like he's not important. I think people are interpreting that as like she's shitting on him, but
Mhm.
there's nothing to insinuate she's talking
'Cause-
about him
yeah,
being a man, first of all. She doesn't
yeah.
ever bring up his gender.
Because
Yeah,
the
what
Toad people, they're a little,
they're kind of retarded. A little
exactly.
bit.
So
You
yes,
don't need to
exactly.
that's how I took it. I was like, she's just
Yeah, exactly.
treating them like a 5-year-olds. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. You guys don't need to worry about that. Like
Yeah,
it's not
she's the only grown up in there, really. Yeah.
yeah. And then there's another one where she's like he has to beat an obstacle course and it takes him like
Mhm.
50 tries and she did it on the first try. She's like, "Yeah, but I grew up here."
Exactly.
And she's trying to make him feel better,
Mhm.
And she explains it. And it's like it's supposed to be a joke.
Mhm.
If you don't have jokes in a movie, then you don't have humor in a movie. I
Mhm.
don't know what people are reaching for some of these girl boss moments.
Yeah, yeah. I think people are on the toes, and it's no wonder. But
Yeah.
in here, I don't think Nintendo
Nope.
isn't into that kind of shit. To be honest, in I think they have like people in the East have a term for woke people. I can't remember what it is, and woke stuff in movies. So
Yeah.
I don't think Nintendo would be
I don't
putting
think
any of the typical Western tropes that we
I
have
don't
here
think they think
in that
about it.
movie.
I think they're
Exactly.
stuck in a I think there's Japan is stuck in like a permanent state of like they've always had strong women in anime. Always.
Mhm. Yeah.
They've never been politically correct.
Mhm.
And they've been like that forever. And they're still like that.
Mhm.
And strong women, they've always wanted to, Miyamoto said he's always wanted to make Peach a strong woman.
Mhm.
But in the beginning they had to use her as a plot device because of the technology and the platforming, and they wanted to push the platforming because it's a video game. Back then nobody gave a shit about story.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yeah.
cared about story back then. Back in when the NES, it was just to sell entertainment consoles.
Do you reckon after this movie there'll be games of Mario with more story to them?
I don't know. Odyssey had a pretty good story, and so did Galaxy, but they
Okay.
were. I don't know if they're going to evolve that much. I don't know if they're going to
Okay.
start doing RPG stuff or whatever. I don't think so.
Interesting.
But it's
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a commenter here saying, was it worth seeing it in the fit? Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Exactly. I'd pay for the ticket, even if it is just in the front row, cheapest ticket there is. It's a short movie. Like, it really doesn't take much of your time.
Yeah.
I think there's a post-credit scene in there as well, but it's just, in the cinemas, because, I have to work there. I have to see, like, every post-credit scene, like 10 or
Wait, what do you
50
do?
times a day. I essentially either clean up after screens or work behind the till.
Oh, I didn't even know you worked at a movie theater until I didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's awesome.
yeah. Not the greatest of jobs, but the benefits are great for essentially for reviewing
Yeah,
movies. And
of course. That's
essentially,
awesome.
yeah, I have to watch like I have to watch like the Ant-Man post-credit scene like 50 freaking times, and there's always
Oh
someone who
god.
stays there. I'm like, just go, please, go away. I want to clean the screen.
That's funny.
It's so annoying. Uh, yeah, I find post credit scenes. All right, you can have a mid post credit scenes, but not after the credits. All right, that's enough. Get out of here, essentially. Um,
I
but
agree.
yeah, I think there was one post credit scene. So yeah, we discussed Peach. Um, I think it'd be good to get to some criticisms. One, I have a hard criticism is of the soundtracks. Sometimes they play like
I need a hero.
exactly and
Da-da.
Thunderstruck and it's just like this is so fucking lazy. Like, geez, just make your own. Don't that part annoyed me. It just screams cheap to you.
Yeah.
We couldn't think of a song, so we'll put some other one. You can get away with it maybe like once with like a different edition of
Um,
the song, but
I think it's a. I
I
think
think that's the Illumination thing.
Illumination
Yeah.
was. I think they looked at the Sonic movies, and Sonic does that too. They have random songs that play like that.
That's more
Um,
live action. I would say, like in the
yeah,
animation, especially, it's important to have your own
yeah,
music. You can get
yeah.
away with that in the live action, I think. But
Um, I don't know how. I don't know if they. It bothered me. I don't know if it bothered most people though. I feel like
hmm
normies probably just enjoyed the pop music, and I
yeah,
don't know if
probably.
it's. I don't know if it's just like us because because we would prefer authentic fan service with the soundtrack,
Yeah, they did have
but
some soundtrack with the movie game themes essentially. I think there were some in there, right? I
yeah,
think
but
Mario
I
played
think
his browser
strategically.
basically on the piano. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's true. That was a great.
that was great.
But I think strategically they were appealing to normies who just want to hear pop music. You know what I mean? But I don't know if they're gonna do that again in the next one because they did get some pushback from it. But
yeah. So
that was
hopefully
a
they don't
yeah that
cheap out
was
on the next one with the music.
yeah that was a
'Cause
criticism for
I'm
sure.
sure they can create some real good ones, especially with the games.
Yep.
Um, so that's one criticism that I had. Uh, the second one, I think you might not agree with me entirely. Uh, I did not like Bowser in this too much. I liked him very much in the beginning. He was really menacing and stuff like that. But I think his affection for Peach was too much. I just thought of him as a simp for the rest of it. And
Yeah,
what do I mean by simp? I mean his affection for Peach degraded him, made him less menacing in my eyes, essentially.
yeah,
Um, and I've heard people say, True Pop, he's in games like that, essentially. Like, oh, if it's the same thing in the games, then my criticism applies to the games as well. You know,
yeah,
from his introduction that really see into the entirety of in trailer. I wish I kind of didn't see that trailer of
yeah,
introduction because I think that was his best scene.
yeah.
Um, I wish I didn't watch the trailer and just saw it in the movie because then I I was really amazed by the first scene and Jack Black's voice acting. Um, And yeah, I think it's like as soon as he says "Peach, Peachy, Peaches" on the piano, I'm like, okay, stop, please stop, please. I want you to be a true villain. I was gonna ask you as well. Do you know what are your thoughts on Bowser, and do you know if they'll use any other? I'm not familiar with any other Mario villains for the sequel, so is it just gonna be Bowser in the sequels?
Yeah, it's probably just gonna keep being Bowser. There's like Bowser Jr., there's King
Yeah.
Boo, there's a
I
mean,
I've
that's
heard of Bowser Jr., but that's like Mario villains. I'm like, crap. I don't know any apart from Bowser,
I
to be honest. But you know,
well, there's really not that many. There's obscure ones, but
mm.
it's mostly Bowser. Um, and I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, he's gonna be in all of them. Unfortunately, if you didn't like Bowser, he's probably gonna be in all of them. And maybe he'll have more now that Peach disowned
Yeah,
him. Maybe
he'll
he'll have
get
more.
over Peach's affection because I remember the
Yeah,
bit.
probably. Maybe not.
Uh, the thing is, like, I think MatPat did like a theory video once where essentially Bowser has Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. thinks of Peach as her mom, and Bowser is just really like trying to build a family
Yeah,
essentially by kidnapping her. I thought that's a real sad
yeah,
but compelling motivation. It's better than the whole like the sim thing essentially. If you bring like a little kid into it essentially and like a lonely Bowser who's just trying to get a
yeah,
family and rule the world, I think that could definitely be a compelling story beat. But in
yeah,
here, maybe okay, I get the marriage part and stuff like that. Maybe that's his way of ruling the kingdom as well by marrying Princess Peach. But don't make
yeah.
him like don't weaken him as a villain by doing that.
Here's the deal. I think you're entitled to your opinion because I understand what you're saying. It makes sense.
Mhm.
I just think your your expectations are it's like you were never going to get that character because that's never who he is. Like, and if you don't
Mm,
like that, if you don't like that about the games, that's fine. There's a lot of people who think Mario games are silly and kind of goofy.
mhm,
But there's a lot of people who love them because of that, because it doesn't take itself seriously. It's very goofy.
mhm,
And like Mario, he's jumping into the lava and he shoots up into the air and holds his butt. And he's like, oh, 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 oh. Like it's very, very, very goofy.
mhm.
And Bowser's never
Bowser
been
can be goofy as well. I
Bowser's a
get.
fan favorite because he's goofy, not because he's menacing. In the Mario 64 game, it's the easiest boss ever in any video game ever. You grab
Hmm,
his tail and throw him into a bomb 3 times, and then it's you just gotta understand that's not why people like Bowser. They kind of like his goofy, the fact that he looks menacing, but he's kind of stupid. I don't know.
yeah,
That's just
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's
just
more so like Japan's, I guess, sort of
yeah.
storytelling.
It's also
Someone has to be a simp, I guess.
yeah, and also like I understand it's for kids. It's
Hmm,
straight up for kids, and I feel like if I had to name my favorite villains of all time, he wouldn't be up there, but
hmm,
he's has like a place in my nostalgic childhood as like a really cool character, and I it's like trying to think of a parallel. I don't know, but yeah, it's hard to describe.
mm,
Sometimes it's hard to describe. Like,
probably in the animated. What
well,
are
like
the animated villains maybe that are kind of
well,
dumb but
people
can
think
be
Ninja
menacing?
Turtles are kind of dumb or goofy,
I mean,
and they kind
Shredder
of
in the old series, I guess he's a goofball.
well, oh yeah, for a villain, yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
just talking about like the Ninja Turtles in general. Like people kind of
Okay.
think they're goofy. They're for kids. They're not really serious. They're not.
But the original
But
comics were like black and white and edgy, to my knowledge.
yeah, there are some edgy ones. There's also that what's
I
that
think I
one?
like a blend
Ronin.
of the two, really, to be honest. But yeah, I've
Yeah,
read that comic by the way, and they're doing a game on it, which I think is kind of
yeah, they are
the
doing a game
easy.
on it.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Ronin
Yep.
TMNT. I think they kind of went the easy way essentially, so they can have like one character with all the weapons instead of doing 4 separate characters. And I
Yeah.
think they just essentially took a shortcut. I'm like, I see what you're doing here. So
Look,
essentially, that's
people
kind of
had that complaint about Mario for some reason, and I not fans. Fans don't have that complaint. But I've seen it. People are like, they made Mario. It's coupled with the Peach Girl Boss thing, and then at the same time, they're like, well, Mario is a punching bag. Like I saw Shad talk about this, and then other people too. They're like, Mario is just goofy. He doesn't do anything cool. First of all, Mario's always been goofy. Okay, and he does a bunch of cool stuff in the movie. Just they're crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
He is very much so heroic in this movie, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, man. You just can't convince everybody. Like people are going to be stuck in their biased ways when they're viewing media these days. Some people, most people loved this movie or liked it or enjoyed it.
I mean, the plot is like bare bones and everything, but it's just, I'm here for the characters, really. I didn't really expect much plot wise, especially because it's Illumination. But yeah, if you make a good main character, I'll forgive the rest. All right, more easily, to be honest.
And even the simple plot pushed everything. The plot was boring because of all of the things in between the transitions was fun to watch. Like we got a Mario Kart chase, we got a fight between Donkey Kong and Mario, we got the whole intro is really cool. That's like kind of original.
I think the intro is the best, to be honest. It was just so good to see, like,
characters no, I'm not talking
in the real
about
world, and it was just like
yes, and the Bowser Penguin part was fun too.
Yeah, definitely.
That was funny. But like what I'm saying is all the set pieces were very entertaining, and the story stitching on them all together is just super duper duper simple. But the point everybody wants to go see this movie is because they want to see Mario breaking blocks, getting power-ups. They want to see him interacting with all these characters. They don't want to see a story. I just doesn't matter.
They're there to be entertained, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't
and if
matter.
You make some good characters and the story, that's just like a cherry on the top, really. Yeah.
Think about Godzilla, okay? Does anyone go see a Godzilla movie for the story?
Not really.
And it's
although
funny because
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's monster fights. Like the first new Godzilla, I don't think that's a great movie, but I can still enjoy it because the cinematography on the Godzilla and the pterodactyl fight. I can enjoy that. But in the most recent one, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's so stupid. I can't even enjoy the monster fights themselves.
Yeah, because every time
they send
there's not
signal
a
through Wi-Fi at the end, it's just
Yeah. And the monster fights are awesome, but then they cut to a stupid story about these kids and some podcast guy with a conspiracy theory, and it's like, we don't care about that. That's so dumb. And then then they break into the Russian or whatever military base, and it's like we're following them around trying to infiltrate. I don't want to watch kids infiltrate a Russian military base. I don't give a care. That's not Godzilla.
Maybe they should make a animated Godzilla movie. That would be a good way to go.
Japan has done a bunch, and they're really popular.
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla.
I think live action is just too much cost, I guess.
But the point I'm trying to make is not everything needs a story. And this is one thing I was like, Shad's review was like, he was like, I treat everything the same. Every piece of media he said he treats the same. Where he dissects the story, analyzes whether or not it's compelling, and it's just like, well, you shouldn't treat every media like that. You should not do that, because you don't do that with you don't do it with Mortal Kombat. You don't do it with martial arts movies. You don't do it with a lot of action movies. Mad Max has no story. Mad Max does not even have a story. The new one, it doesn't have a story. It's just a giant chase scene, the whole movie. Yeah. But you shouldn't. But that's not why the movie's good. The movie's good because it's a giant chase scene. Same with Pacific Rim. Same with even you know what I mean. Like some action movies.
I understand your point.
Yeah.
But it's just like I think like it depends really. If you're trying to give it like an objective score, I guess you treat everything like on measurements. Like, okay, how good is the plots? How many plot holes does it have, and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think because it has such good characters that I think it kind of raises the bar in my view at least. And yeah, I can see what you're saying, and but I
Yeah.
think even if the plot is bare bones, I guess like it does good enough of a job with the characters, which makes it
It
more than a okay movie, essentially.
it could be a bad plot, and the movie itself could be bad, and it's still fun to watch. I've seen
Hmm.
many movies that are like that. I mean,
Hmm.
most early Hong Kong movies, like martial arts movies, have terrible stories, but they're
Hmm.
extremely entertaining. You know, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Another criticism that I had for this movie, I think might be one of my semi biggest, I guess, is separating Mario and Luigi for like a good chunk of the movie. I think
Yep.
the name of the movie is Super Mario Brothers. I mean, come on, they had the best chemistry at the beginning, so wholesome, so cute. They're making like a commercial, and Mario, doing like a typical Italian. I just found that adorable. And yeah, separating them just I don't
I
know,
agree.
it kind of stays out with me. Like keep them together. Their relationship is top notch.
I agree. I just think um the fact that this is an origin story,
Hmm.
I'm letting it slide because they are going to be together going forward.
Hmm.
And I was okay with getting to know Peach as a character, and I'm willing to sacrifice a part, somewhat like in the first movie of this franchise. I'm willing to sacrifice that Mario Luigi that like moments
Hmm.
for having her developed a little bit as a character, and then future movies, Mario, Luigi, and Peach, like we're not gonna be separated. I feel like going unless Peach
Yeah,
gets captured, then that's fine. I
I
don't care.
hope Peach gets kidnapped. I mean
Yeah,
that's what everyone knows in Mario. Peach gets kidnapped. Mario and
yeah.
Luigi have to save her. I hope
I
that happens.
I
I was
mean that
hoping
would
it happened in this movie, at least towards the end, but
it
it
would
kind
make
of did
sense.
in a way. But
Oh yeah, it did. And it would make sense if it happens at one point, maybe like the second or third movie or whatever. They'll do a Peach is in danger storyline.
Hmm.
People are acting like they're never going to do that. It's like the first movie. I understand why they wanted to develop her character instead of because she is cool and she's the only girl in the whole thing, and like half the viewers are going to be young girls.
Mm.
I totally understand. It makes sense to me, and I like her. She's a cool character. I don't know.
Hmm. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
You asked me before in the show about elements I didn't understand. I don't understand why the blue mushroom shrunk you. If anything, I did see at one point like a power up essentially growing Mario to like a King Kong size essentially and walking all over the
Uh
map. But I haven't seen like a even more decrease in size when Mario is like already
huh.
quite kind of small.
So the blue mushroom is just a thing in the games where you get a tiny version of it, and it's
Hmm.
unfortunate especially in Super Smash Brothers when you get that power up. It sucks because you just get
Okay.
destroyed. You get beat up. It's a gimmick, and that was also during a Smash Brothers esque fight scene. So it was kind of an homage to fans of that franchise of the Smash Bros games. When you get that power up, you feel helpless and powerless, and to me it connected, and I understand why it didn't connect with you,
Hmm.
but
I
it's
thought that
not.
was like, oh, maybe that's something to the movie rather than an Easter egg, maybe because I haven't seen that before. But like, no, no,
Yeah,
no, it's some Easter egg
it's
in the
just
game that I missed.
yeah, it's appealing to people who've been through that before, because the whole thing about Mario is we're basically fans are Mario in this movie. Like we're Mario,
Mhm.
and we've done
Yeah.
all of these things before. We've done the obstacle course. We've died a million times. We've got the power ups. We've got the shrinking mushrooms. So we're kind of you know what I mean. That's the point of it. Really, it's nothing
Hmm.
really serious about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so what are your thoughts on the, I guess, aftermath of this movie now that it has made a ton of money? Do you reckon it'll reach 1 billion?
Oh boy. Oh, quickly before that,
Hmm.
the blue shell that didn't
Yeah,
make a sense to a lot of people
I've heard
because
of the blue shell in Mario Kart. Yeah,
okay,
it's
so
Doom.
that yeah, but people were just like, "What the hell just happened?" that wouldn't make any sense to somebody who has never played Mario Kart.
Mhm.
But I don't care. It's not really for them.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think
I think
the
this
Blue
movie,
Shell is kind of infamous, so yeah.
yeah, it is infamous. People should know about it. If not, then that's your fault. I'm kidding. But
For not being in the
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's like not knowing about. It's like not knowing when you throw a Pokeball, a Pokemon goes inside of it. Like
Mm.
it's supposed to be like something you know. Like they don't have to
Mhm.
explain the science behind it.
Mhm.
Um,
The movie doesn't hold your hand essentially,
yeah, yeah,
which I kind of appreciated.
yeah,
Yeah, it just shows you like, okay, go through this up. It all it none of it is like really distracted. I have a feeling that even if you didn't know what the blue shell was, you kind of buy it because this is like a
yeah.
weird
Special
dimension
power or
with
something. Yeah,
mushrooms and power ups and lucky blocks and ridiculous stuff like that.
yeah,
And you're just like, oh, okay, that's just another wacky element of the world.
exactly.
And I think they did great that because other directors and writers, I think they'd incredibly struggle adapting a video game world to to a movie essentially.
Yep. I think this movie might hit 1 billion, but it might be difficult for it to hit 1 billion. I still think it's hard to say because I'm looking at Sonic and Pikachu, and they didn't cross 500 million, neither any of them. And
Hmm.
those movies were very popular. You know what I mean? The
It
Detective
just depends on the
Pikachu
one.
and
Yeah.
Sonic and Sonic 2, they're not they're never going to hit 1 billion ever. Mario, unless they're animated. I mean, if there's an animated Pokemon movie or an animated Sonic movie, yeah, it might make more money. But I don't think they're doing Sonic justice personally, and I don't. This movie, something they tapped into some sort of weird thing with this movie
Hmm.
that's like appealing to adults, kids, normies. I don't know how they
Hmm.
did it. I don't know how they did it.
Exactly. Do you know why I think it appeals so much? Because I think Disney has been and other animation companies have been dropping the ball, like not really
Yeah,
paying attention much to audiences with kids,
yeah,
and essentially that's been like not really a tapped in market, essentially, and now it's like these parents and kids. It's like they're in a desert essentially, and then Mario is kind of like a bit of water in there. Just like, oh my god, finally a good kids film that I can
yeah.
safely
Well,
watch with my kid and not have questions like about the birds and bees or anything like stupid like that. Um,
think about the best, highest grossing animated movies. It's Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, Toy Story 3, Minions, Frozen,
Toy Story
Zoot
4.
Toy Story
Oh,
4, all
I
these
hate that movie.
movies, I mean, all these movies are just very iconic looking, like Incredibles, very iconic.
Hmm.
Toy Story is iconic. Frozen's iconic. It has a lot of young girls that go see that one.
Hmm.
Um, Nemo and Dory are iconic. Like Zootopia has animals. Like that's always like very popular aesthetic for for kids. Kids love animals. So it's like, and Mario is probably the most popular character that kids would recognize in a video game, maybe besides
Definitely.
Pikachu.
Hmm.
Um,
And Sonic as well.
Sonic, there's a lot of kids that don't play Sonic games now because Sonic games suck, and they don't come out with them
Controversial take
frequently.
maybe there.
No, the Sonic games have not been good in about 20 years, I would say, and that's a
Interesting.
very common take for Sonic fans because they're very upset about that.
Hmm.
It's like the Sonic movie, the Sonic games were good back in the Dreamcast, Sega, Genesis. Mario has been consistently good on the GameCube, on
Mhm.
the Wii U, on the Nintendo Switch with Mario Odyssey. Very look how much money. Look at this. Mario Odyssey. How much? Let's see.
Okay, I can. If you put it in a private chat, I probably could screenshot that essentially.
Top 10 best selling. Well, here, I mean, you can look it up here. It's oopsie daisy. Look this up because this is interesting. If you scroll down to the see here.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Uh,
this is in units, by the way, not dollars. Like this is like copies of the game.
Oh, okay.
So if you scroll down to the
5 and 6.
list,
Yeah, yeah.
21.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Well, Mario Kart is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
And Smash Bros. And Mario Odyssey, 21 million units that's insane. That's like probably over $1 billion, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Mario is all over there essentially.
Yeah, and like Sonic Frontiers. I'll just quickly look it up.
I the only Sonic game I've played is the one where they have like these boards that they fly on. I can't remember the title of it. It's a shit
Oh
game.
yeah. Well,
That's the only one I played.
the newest one, the brand new one that was hyped up by everybody, only sold
Mhm.
3 million copies.
I've heard it being praised though, which is weird.
Some people like it, some people don't. I mean, it's just not Sonic is not as popular. Pikachu is more popular than Mario, I think. And
That's
if you look at
interesting because now we
Yeah.
don't have Ash anymore in Pokemon. So is that going
You
to
don't-
sell
you-
as well now?
you
Or?
don't have Ash. Well, kids don't care about Ash. They just adults care about Ash. I feel like because we grew up with him. Kids just the
Care about the
newer
Pokemon,
yeah, they care about the Pokemon and they want. I think the new series has a different character. Ash hasn't even been. There's another character. I don't follow the anime.
Mhm.
There's a different character now, but
Oh, okay. I bet he's as engaging.
I don't know.
It's
But,
been going
like-
on for so long that it's just like
It's just weird that Detective Pikachu was their choice for the first Pokemon movie.
I know, right? It's just like, oh, okay. That's the first thing you do. Pokemon, like Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
I-
some
no.
spin-off game.
I guess that's maybe the first Pokemon game the director played or something like that. you
Well,
know?
it was probably because they said, well, we need to make Pikachu talk because they thought that would make them more money, and they were like, let's give it Ryan Reynolds. And
I mean, Ryan Gosling, they might as well put him in there.
but like that's probably their motivation, and they were like, well, let's just do Detective Pikachu because that's the game where he talks. Because they were probably worried about the movie making money, and they needed some other. That's why they got Chris Pratt for Mario. I think.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They needed a big name because they weren't quite sure if the video game property would make a lot of money because historically they don't.
And I think the popularity of Mario, and
Yeah.
I think I could mention some other examples. I think because some people say, superhero fatigue is coming and stuff like that, and I'm thinking video game adaptations might be the next big thing for studios. Now, when I
Sure.
say superhero fatigue, I don't mean
Yeah.
superhero in themselves. I think it's more so the cliche way of Hollywood that Hollywood's cliche way of doing superheroes fatigue. That's what it is, rather than the superhero fatigue genre itself, essentially. Because I think superheroes aren't a genre. You can do tons of stuff in there, essentially. But I think the
Yep.
Hollywood does the way they do them. Blue beams in the sky, an army to kind of fight. All those
Yeah.
little tropes. I think people are getting bored of that essentially, and it's not what
I'm
James
bored of
Gunn had
it.
a brilliant comment about it as well. So
Yeah. Look at Blue Beetle. It's copying the same tropes from Spider-Man
yeah,
and Shazam and all of these like origin story movie tropes. Like it's so tropey and they just repeat themselves over and over and over again. And then but look at The Boys. Look at Invincible, Look at I even think well, this is my opinion, but I thought the Batman was great. I thought the Joker was great. I think those
but
I think
Joker is
superhero
just so
movies-
fresh as well, like so
Yeah.
so different than every other story that we've gotten, and
But-
Marvel would never do something like the Joker movie, essentially.
Well, the comparison would be I think the best comparison is anime with stuff like Naruto and One Piece. It's like it's like it's the same thing with the MCU where it's fatigue of long running endlessly repetitive
Mm.
appealing to the lowest common denominator anime.
Mhm.
Because a
If
lot of people had Naruto fatigue. A lot of people, and Naruto gets made fun of. If you're a Naruto fan, people make fun of you. Even though
Mhm.
it's a good show, it's a good, parts of it are great, just like the MCU. But we're
Yeah,
tired of it, and that doesn't mean we're tired of ninjas. Okay,
exactly.
ninjas, they just came out with another one this year. It was fantastic. So it's not we're tired of superheroes. It's that we're tired of the formula.
Exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
you said.
Mhm. That you bang on the money, and
Yep.
I think there's been other examples like Arcane, for instance. I know that's been really popular. I think
Invincible.
I'm forgetting a recent one that's really obvious, and I'm completely blanking on another video game movie that's been successful.
Edge Runners,
Edge Runners, yeah, definitely.
Cyberpunk.
I'm thinking of a movie as well, but I'm completely blanking on it.
There's well, Demon Slayer movie made a lot of money.
Demon Slayer. Yeah.
I just think, well, Japan's always putting out, like, they make Suzume just made $100 million in Japan, but nobody knows what it is.
Mhm. Does it like a guy turn as a chair in there, and I'm just like,
That turns into a
what the
chair.
hell is that? Yeah, some guy in that movie turns into a chair.
Oh shit!
I'm not joking.
In an
Like, he
anime?
literally, yes, in that Suzume anime about unlocking magical
Oh,
doors,
yeah,
some guy turns into a chair, and I'm like,
that's
the hell
funny.
is this? Like, the thing about anime is, this might
Well,
be a controversial take. All right, all right. I know, Lofty, you're known for the controversial takes,
oh yeah.
but I'm gonna say most anime is kind of bad, to be honest. Like, I tried to watch what I think some anime has like either good world building or some good characters. I think anime nails world building wise, making an interesting, compelling world.
Yep.
And there's obviously some really tropey characters. Like, essentially, they do have much the same
Yeah.
formulas as well, but they do have some. I don't know. There's always some character who's after revenge, and those kind of characters are always compelling.
Yeah.
But anime can be a lot of times hit and miss. When it does hit hard. Essentially,
Yeah, for sure. It does.
I hope that's not too much of a
Well,
controversy, but.
I mean, a lot of people don't. I think Razor Fist would agree with you, for example. He thinks most anime sucks, and he has like a very, 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 very narrow taste in anime that he likes, very specific.
I wouldn't say my taste is narrow. I do like
Well,
some
with
anime
ani-
that people would
Yeah.
probably consider trash, but I think like there's a lot that there is just like, why are you even bothering? Especially with what's the genre called when you're stuck in a fantasy world? What's it called again? I'm
Isekai?
completely blanking on. Yes, completely overused.
Yep.
Filled to the brim, essentially, genre, and
Of course, it's over the top. I only watch. I kind of curate my anime, so like I'll watch whatever I watch is usually good because I decide, I do research and I just like, I'm not gonna like that one, so I just don't watch it. So
Mhm.
I'll watch, like, I've seen like a bunch of isekai, but I usually watch like the good ones
Mhm.
and avoid
Yeah,
the
or at
ones
least
that
try
I know
to.
I'm gonna hate.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Like, there's
Yeah.
some tropes in there, like, uh, like
Yeah, they
like
always-
lollies.
yeah.
I'd like to, if I
Yeah.
had a time machine, I would. Never mind Hitler. I would kill the guy who made that a thing, like lollies, essentially, because.
That's been around for I don't even know how
Oh,
long.
good
I
God!
don't even
Like,
know
every
how
time
that
I see
came.
that in an anime, I'm like, nope, nope, no, nope, nope, no. This is where I draw the line. And it's like funny because I don't think there's many people that have the taste as me. You're either like, I constantly, when I see like talk about anime, you're either fully against it or
Yeah.
fully into it.
Yeah.
I don't see any people in between. Well, there's good and bad in here, but
Yeah. No, people. Yeah, it's true. It's a very polarizing. What's the hobby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it, and then there's a lot of bickering in the middle of the fans about all kinds of stuff, including, lolly and all that stuff. Like even fans in this anime will argue about that stuff. And what was I gonna say? The well, fandoms in general are kind of annoying, not just anime, but like fans will yell at each other in the Star Wars fandom. And like, some
Yeah.
people like Nick. Well, Nick's not really a Star Wars fan, but he hates Star Wars.
Mhm.
Some people don't like the prequels. Some people love the prequels. Some people,
Mm.
it's just
They
fandom.
are high art right now. They're high art with the
I know
competitive
that's what
trash.
everybody's saying. I can't get over it. I can't get over the first two. The third one's okay.
Yeah, I think the third one is my favorite too, as well, out of the prequels.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But yeah, not everything can be for everybody. I don't. Let's try to think of something I don't like. I don't like country
In
music.
terms of anime.
Anime, I don't like slice of life anime where it's just like
Okay.
characters like at school or characters that are just like comedies in general. I think a lot of the comedies are kind of cringe.
Mm.
I prefer serious shows, like more serious stuff like Chainsaw Man, Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop.
Like Chainsaw Man, that is just like such a unique approach
Yeah, it
to
is.
storytelling in general. I think it's see that kind of inventive something new is very so much engaging. But then I like kind of stuff like in terms of comedy, there's I think is Love is War. I
Mhm.
think that's the only because usually animes just don't even get a chuckle out of me. Like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like I don't think I've ever laughed like at all at any gag whatsoever
Yep.
in that series. And in
It's a
that
serious
particular
show, but yeah.
exactly. But they always have some goofy moments essentially where I can't remember the president, the armored one like makes a silly face or something like that. It never got like a laugh out of me those moments essentially.
Mhm.
But in the comedy series like Love is War, like I laughed
Yeah.
my ass off for some reason, and
Oh yeah,
I
it's funny.
did not expect it at all essentially, which is even more surprising. It was talking about anime and we're losing watchers as well, by the way.
That's true. No, that's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. I think there was a recent movie about it that I missed out, but I think people would have judged me as well. You're watching an anime, we're like, it's kind of funny, guys.
It is
Jeez,
funny. What's
don't
that one
judge
with
me
the
for watching a rom-com anime movie, okay?
yeah, what's the one with the anime girls with the band?
I heard of
band?
that. I heard of that. I know what
what
you
the hell
mean,
is
but I can't remember the name for the life of me. I heard it was really good.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't remember. I
and
just
then
don't. I haven't been watching anime lately.
me either.
I've been playing video games and what else? Boki the Rock. That's what I was thinking of. Boki the Rock.
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
funny. It makes me laugh.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, I'm playing video games, Zelda,
Okay.
and watching movies and stuff like that. It's kind of my main hobby.
Okay. I think the main thing that I have is the main things I'm doing is essentially watching all the movies in the world. Essentially, I think on Tuesday I'm going to watch the Pope's Exorcist. Have you heard of that
Nice.
movie?
Yep.
Have you watched it?
No, I heard it's okay. It's getting okay reviews.
Okay.
That's the one with Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yes. And I remember like first time I heard about the casting, I thought it'd be more of a biographical film essentially, and I was like, oh, that's interesting casting right there. The thing is, obviously I'm Catholic, but I'm not sure what to think about exorcism. I don't think because I think that's exorcism in general is treating religion too much like magic. Religion is not magic essentially, and I thought it'd be much more of a realistic kind of biographical take, essentially familiarizing us with how exorcism works, essentially, with the guy who essentially supposedly made it. But it seems more of like kind of like a fantasy Da Vinci Code kind of thing
Yeah.
with like a generic horror. I'm just like, oh come on, you could have done something special here. I mean, Russell Crowe has been in some really good biopics like the Cinderella Man. Essentially, that was a
Oh
real
yeah.
good movie.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be more of an approach like that, but it's just But I heard it's okay from some people. I don't know. I
I
think
hear
Mr.
Evil
Hate
Dead
Revenge.
Rise is really good. That's what I'm getting vibes from. We'll see.
I don't think I'm gonna see. I'm not very good with horror movies, to be honest.
Well,
That's
that's
what I
going to be a
found out.
violent one.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to with my Army of Darkness. Essentially, I'll watch that anytime. I'll stay away from too scary movies. Like I think I read some tweets where you like threw Smile under the bus. Essentially, like that is generic stuff. Like okay, this kind of scared the hell out of me, and I kept like using the 10-second skip button. Um, yeah, I'm really not good with horrors, but
I
again,
love them.
kind of like with anime horrors, I guess is also hit and miss because it's just you kind
Yeah.
of delve into generic stuff essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then there's loads of directors like that. I want to do horrors. Essentially, I was just like, do you want to do anything? No, I want to do horrors. They're just like, oh,
That's
okay.
true. Hollywood too.
Um,
There's a lot of copying and pasting and formulaic horror movies in Hollywood.
mm.
so
That
many
does.
so many
Oh, yeah, go on.
sequels too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That does remind me. What I wanted to end this live stream on is, so now that Mario's been like a super popular success, it's essentially guaranteed success. What other films do you reckon will be successful, and what films are you looking forward to in this year? Because I know I have like two that I'm very much looking forward to within
In
this year.
this year?
Yes, this year.
Well, I think Dune Part 2 is going to be really successful.
Ooh. Yeah, that is true.
I think Oppenheimer is going to crush it.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Did you hear that they actually freaking launched the nuke and recorded that?
I read that and I retweeted it, and then it turns out that was fake news.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, because I bought
I
it
would
too, and
totally
was like,
believe Christopher Nolan would do that though.
well, somebody put together some filmmaker put together a really clever video that made it look like they did that, and it was he was like, everybody bought my my fake documentary behind the scenes thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Nice.
they did probably blow up stuff.
Yes, I'd imagine so. Maybe it wasn't a nuke because then you'd have to deal with the radiation. Maybe they used
blew
some
up
kind of bomb.
Yeah, like you ever see like the Beirut explosion? Like they probably it's so big. They probably did something like that where they just blew up like a factory or something. I don't know.
Okay, so that's just.
But no, that's gonna do well. And then I think Napoleon, Ridley Scott, is gonna maybe come out of nowhere and blow everybody away.
Is that coming out this year?
Yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix.
I heard he was playing that. Yeah.
Yep. And then we have Killers of the Flower Moon, which I'm most excited. That's the Martin Scorsese movie.
Is that on
4
streaming
hours.
or no? Like Irishman.
It's Apple TV. Yeah, it's gonna be on streaming.
Okay. At least I'll get to pirate it. You know. But, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
I mean, YouTube. I'll say all the high C. The horror. I keep forgetting that you can't exactly say that on live streams. I need to
I say it all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I don't think it's gonna be in theaters. I mean, it might be in theaters at the same time.
I'll tell you that I'm looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that's gotten just some news that it's going to release on Peacock streaming and cinemas. I'm like, that's a terrible sign if something's releasing on streaming and releasing in the theaters. That just shows me that they don't have much confidence in this, which is a shame because the creator himself, like, I think he finished a script at one point. Like, okay, I'm happy. Okay, director is happy. Okay, the founder of Blumhouse is happy.
Yeah.
And then he said to himself, you know what, scrap this script. I can do better, and started from scratch. I mean, that's dedication to right there. Yeah, I'd like to write a proper script, movie scripts, and make a proper movie of my own someday. I'm really
Yeah.
into script writing and storytelling and so forth. And
Same.
to see that is just like, okay, this movie might be good if you just scrapped a script like that and started over again. And
Yeah.
I do like the FNAF games and the story it has to tell. I do not engage with the fandom of Five. They cancel the creator himself for rotating the wing, so I don't want to deal with those people. I've never interacted with Five Nights at Freddy's fans. If someone tells me, "Oh, I'm a Five Nights at Freddy's fan," I'm like, I'm not going to even mention that I like Five Nights at Freddy's next to you because I'm just nah.
Hey, that happens with a lot of people. With
Mm.
whatever, a lot of fandoms are annoying, and you don't want to be associated with them. Like we were talking about that earlier.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
for
Pokemon-
me, it's Five
yeah.
Nights at Freddy's, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, but also, there's one more. Joker Part 2. Oh no, you know
Ooh.
what? That's
I think that's next
2024.
year, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, right?
Rebel
The set
Moon.
photos.
Yeah.
The
I don't
thing
know.
is, but I was like, when I saw the set photos for the first Joker film, like, this looks absolute shit. This is pointless. And then I saw the movie. Oh, I should have shut the. Essentially, I had to eat my words, and I'll probably have to eat my words now because of these. I'll no comment. The set photos always look trashy, so I'll keep an open mind, I guess.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Oh, that's coming out this year as well. Yeah,
Yep.
that'll definitely be great.
It's gonna be fun.
We only got. Did you watch John Wick, by the way?
Yes, 4. Yeah, I've seen it. Loved it.
What did you think about it?
I loved it.
I think it's the best sequel out of the John Wicks.
I do. I agree. I think it's one of the best action movies I've ever seen in my life. I think it's.
I mean, they just keep upping the action, and it's ridiculous how to what extent they've gone.
And it's
kind of like a
it's
Transformer movie
real.
now that it's nonsensical, but
yeah, but it's not Transformers because they do everything real, and none of it's CGI. So at least the practical effects and the fight choreography is like legitimate. The story is getting a little bit crazy, but even the story is fun. I think it's very fun. It doesn't have to be realistic. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I just want it to be fun.
I think they're never gonna top like the first one, especially with how emotionally grounded it was, and I think that's kind of missing in the sequels, definitely. But
that's true.
I think. Did you hear that they were meant to make a fifth one now? As always, just like, oh,
yeah, they're thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
The thing is, I like a fifth one, especially with how much action you made in this one. But maybe give it a rest for a while. Especially with that ending.
I just want Keanu Reeves to work on the Berserk movie instead.
Oh yeah, I've read the first volume of the comic. Seems definitely.
Yeah, I think
that's on Netflix, right?
Oh yeah, I think it is. Yep.
Yep.
But I would be okay with 4 John Wick movies, and then maybe he can do a spin-off, or maybe he can appear in like one of the spin-offs or something. I'd be fine with that.
Definitely.
Just like But yeah, Mario's good.
Mario's good. Do you? Oh, okay. I guess we'll go through like one last question. Like, I'm not very familiar with the Nintendo world. I guess. Do you reckon they'll build a universe from this, essentially? Especially now they're making so much money. I think they've already making profit. Essentially, they're definitely making profit on this movie.
I think I think they're going to do. Here's what I think. Donkey Kong is going to get his own movie. I don't know if Yoshi's going to get his own movie, but Yoshi will be in Mario the sequel. Shoot. I would say the only thing that's freaking me out is that Illumination can't possibly do all of this themselves, because they still have Minions, they still have other stuff that they're doing. Like I don't know. I would go all out and be like, yeah, they're gonna do Kirby, Samus, and Fox, and a bunch of other whatever,
Link.
But I don't, Link, Zelda. I don't see Illumination having the budget or the capacity to do that like the Disney can. Like Disney would be able to do it.
Mhm.
I don't know if Illumination could do that. I don't know.
Exactly, and
Does
it's
that make
just like
sense?
I don't think Nintendo's turning to Disney like anytime soon. Maybe Disney
No.
is now hungry for that kind of money, but you know,
Well, this movie is gonna make a ton of money.
exactly.
I just don't know.
If they can pull that off yet, but I definitely think there's like plans
Yeah, I think there is
to do that.
plans. This could be the beginning of a 10-year plan for a Super Smash Brothers universe or something.
Hmm.
Definitely a Nintendo universe. I don't know if they're going to bring in Zelda or Pokemon into this same universe because that's what people are expecting. They're like, "Oh, we got to do a Super Smash because Smash Brothers is the biggest crossover in entertainment history in terms of all the characters that come together. There's like 92 characters from different games that all come and fight each other. Now, that would be a fun idea for a cinematic universe, but I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me like Nintendo buying some other company or working
I
out some other deal with another one just to make more.
I agree. I think Nintendo might take this. The only way for this to work is if Nintendo takes it seriously,
Hmm.
and then maybe they buy Illumination and they just like become a dominant force in the movie industry.
Imagine that Nintendo coming out of nowhere and dominating the kids' movies franchise instead of Disney. Like
It's a dream
the
come true
trash
for a lot
fire
of
with
people.
Disney. Exactly. I love seeing Disney fail on this so
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
Have you seen the recent announcements from Lucasfilm as well? They're
Yeah.
an absolute joke. Making the Ray movie is just like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
And
It's
that's the
like
one
they
I was
have
most
no.
excited for because it's written by Stephen Knight, who did Peaky Blinders, and I was like, "Oh, let's go! I'll watch this one." And the fact that she's in it, it's just gonna.
The
I don't
director
hate.
did what Marvel, Miss
Yeah.
Marvel episode did to my knowledge. Is just
I just like. I don't hate her as an actress. I just hate the
her
idea
character.
of her. The idea that she doesn't do anything for me as a character.
She's
She's
not
the
even a
least
character.
interesting. She's like the least interesting Jedi ever.
Exactly.
I just don't understand why they would. I don't know.
It's funny that they're going with Ray, isn't it? And not with John Boyega, not with Oscar Isaacs. Oscar Isaacs did say at one point that well, hey, if I want a new house, sure I could do another Star Wars movie. I guess he didn't need another house, so that's why they didn't announce it with
Yeah.
Oscar Isaacs in it, or John
The
Boyega,
only
especially John Boyega.
the ones I'm kind of interested in. I'm not really a big Star Wars person anymore. I used to be, but
Yeah,
I'll
but now
probably
Disney ruined
watch.
it.
Well, yeah, they ruined a lot. The Disney Plus is the worst. I think they're worse than the movies, to be honest.
Yes,
Um,
I think Obi-Wan is probably
yeah, it's the worst.
as bad as a sequel. Yeah, it's hard to measure this,
But
yeah.
Obi-Wan and Mandalorian have way like at least The Last Jedi has like high quality production value. Like if you look at the
Yeah,
Mandalorian,
especially
it's
Book
just
of
the
Boba Fett.
volume. Everything's
Yes.
green screen.
Yeah, especially Book of Boba Fett. That was
Boba
another
Fett.
level of bad.
Yeah, it's like kids movies. I would say the one that intrigues me is the James Mangold one, which is being described as a biblical epic of the origins of the Jedi. To me, that sounds good. If it, you know what I mean? Like if it wasn't Disney,
Exactly.
it sounds epic. And you know
Exactly.
what? Maybe that will be the one to finally bring back the charm of the. It's like
The thing is,
you know,
like, I don't know if anyone's gonna go for it because I kind of agree with Gary on what he said in one of his streams that Star Wars is fundamentally Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, and Darth Vader. Those are the characters that the normies recognize, and obviously,
well, it can't be like
you
that
can't really
forever.
do infinite stories with them because you know characters get old, actors get old,
Exactly.
and stuff like that. So perhaps maybe they'll have to do reboot or recast, and they kind of can't do that because they learned the wrong lesson from the Solo movie. Essentially, is don't recast old legacy characters. Like no. You could potentially do like Sebastian Stan as I wouldn't mind like
agree.
Sebastian Stan doing Luke Skywalker as long as the writing is up to par.
I agree. I like
think-
Sebastian Stan as Luke.
Yeah, might be controversial take there, chat, but
But-
sound off your disagreement in the comments. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
just-
think that'll be a better casting, to be honest. And I think you could definitely do so much more with those characters after the sequel, but they just dropped the ball like immensely,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, I don't know what they fucked up. They could. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just want to go back in time. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily care about the Luke story anymore. Go back, like do something completely different. Go to that. Go.
Mhm.
Because Star Wars, if you think about it, it's never gonna die. It's gonna like nobody. Now the fans don't even think that. Like what you said about Luke and Leia. Like I understand, like movie fans maybe. But even
The general
hardcore-
audience, essentially. No
Well-
one's gonna see the biblical James Mangold movie. I don't think. I don't think that will
But
make money.
then how come the EU is so popular? I feel like people
Well,
don't
I
necessarily
don't
care
think
about.
most of the audience don't know about the EU.
I know, but the EU is very popular with hardcore Star Wars fans. So all I'm saying is that I think, I don't think it's necessary that Luke and Leia and Han are in every movie. I think it depends on who's. If like George Lucas came back and made a Knights of Ren movie or something, everybody would go see it.
Hmm.
I think
True.
maybe it depends on like it's just Disney. It's
Yeah,
just Disney.
yeah. They've essentially washed it down.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. Anyway,
Anyway, let's wrap up the stream. I think that was a great discussion, in depth of Mario with a little side talk on different movies there. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed Mario, and we'll definitely see it again. And I definitely recommend it to everyone to see it with their kids.
Yep.
See it with everyone, really. See it 3 times. Like Chris Pratt, see it twice, essentially, in his comments. That will be all for the live stream, as usual. Lofty, would you like to plug in your stuff, essentially? The YouTube's on whatnot?
YouTube.com/Lofti Pixels and Twitter Lofti Pixels. That's pretty much it. I'm probably doing a stream this week about Mario I'm gonna try to find people who don't like it and then have them come on because that might be fun. I don't know. And then I might do another stream later in the week. I'm trying to do 2 streams a week going forward if I can. You're supposed to do a schedule, and I suck at schedule because sometimes I don't feel like streaming on a like if I don't know about you, but like some people are like every Wednesday at 10 p.m. we're gonna do our show. To me, I can't do that. It bothers me, like psychologically. Because like, what if I want to go out and see a movie on a Wednesday or you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then again, I think it's like good for audiences.
It's
to
way
kind of
better for
get you.
audiences, and it's way better for the algorithm. But anyway,
Yeah, depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that. Have like a regular, but not at this point in my life. Too much going on, too much craziness. Definitely when things settle down, like later on in the year, I plan to do regular shows. I think on like Saturdays essentially. And yeah, making no promises yet. I'll be trying to update my logo as well, just to not have like a Spider-Man one all the time. And work on that. Maybe have like a VTube like character like you're doing. But yeah, I'll definitely work on that.
This is free.
And yeah, again, thank you, Lofty, so much for coming on. Yeah, it's been great discussing.
No problem, but thanks for having me on.
Alrighty, and see you later, everyone. Bye.
Bye, chat.